No.
So literally, like, that's been my 2-year plan.
It's not established.
I make money, look.
Bro,
No,
it's
honestly,
not
they said, like,
established.
come back in a few years if it works. And I was like, okay.
4.
I almost don't want to after, because,
Yeah.
like, try other things.
We're rolling. Hello.
Hello.
This is
Hajime.
this is
Don't look at the
episode
camera.
23. I'm gonna try to like move forward so that my face doesn't get like brought out because I think we only have one camera. Let me see if I can actually turn this on. We're running episode 23 right now. It's the same setting as last episode because we wanted to
It's
record
only 10
this.
minutes apart.
No, because
I
it's
mean,
another day and
another day.
we're just wearing the same clothes and
And like
we're at the same place.
frequency's like kind of the similar.
yeah, and everything's the
same.
same, but it's a different week, bitch. Shut up. This week we have my nigga Calum
My nigga Calum.
with one L, bitch.
Yes.
It's not 2 L's in this.
Oh,
How
don't
are
mess
you?
up my billing.
How are
Yeah,
you, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. I
It's
just
funny
got
because
that.
every time
Shut up, what's happening?
I meet up with you, your voice is always deeper than I expected
Yeah,
it to be.
facts.
Like you start speaking and I'm like, oh shit, fuck,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
That's why I keep it at least this long, because you don't want to, like, put people off.
Oh, I thought you meant his voice.
No, I meant
yeah,
I
like
didn't
my
mean his
beard,
voice.
you know, it comes with the voice. Visually. You know, like,
Oh.
you could have a deep voice because of your beard.
Oh, good.
You ever think about that? Like, visually matching your face to how you, like, sound?
I actually don't. I never have.
Don't overthink it.
He just put you onto some new shit.
Dots, man.
No, I don't think. Okay, so the week this will come out will be after the show.
True.
But for
Yeah.
last episode, I did plug it, and it'll be on the description for the last thing. Congrego.
Yeah.
That's the second one or first
Yeah,
or
so that's
third.
the second one under
Second.
that name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the concept exactly? Because the last one you told me, like Akers described it as like a backyard kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
That's-
the event name itself was just a home party, because I wanted to emphasize, like, you know, there's a lot of art scene stuff going on.
Yeah.
I won't, like, deny that. But, like, I want to invite people that feel pushed away from the art scene. Like, my friends who don't, like, make stuff, I'm like, still come.
Mm.
And
That's why it's the home party vibe.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's not in a
'cause-
club.
Because sometimes I feel like it turns into a networking thing when it's just an art show.
Yeah.
Even if you're mixing a
That's
ton
true.
of stuff, I'm like it's my work's done. Like, it's 9:30. I want to just hang out. So I try to make it really relaxed in that way. But
Yeah.
the way it started too is just I used to do these house parties called 787, just my old address. And I found people were like, it was a good way to get people actually off their phones.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that you can do where you can still be on your phone. So I was trying to build like an experience around it. So all that to say, Congrego's mission statement is a disconnection from the tools and technologies that keep us apart.
Where did you get the name from?
It's Latin for congregation. Yeah.
Shit. That's
Yeah,
so tight.
I'm glad I grabbed it too. 'Cause, like, I actually saw an app using it for something like file sharing. So, like, if you're using it, just drop out. Like,
Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna win.
He's gonna win. How was the first one?
It was good.
Just
it was,
from like the stories I saw, it looked like it was. Did you have a stage in the backyard?
Yeah, we built it. It was like it's like that tall, but it was good because, like, if you want
It's
to
personal.
guitar amps and drums, like, you just need a flat surface.
Yeah.
Then it
You don't
gives
need anything crazy. It's just a little stage,
little
and then you
riser.
could do. And it had lights too, and that's it. Like you kept it simple.
Yeah, we rented PAs and lights, which was really cheap from. I won't plug it, but you know, we rented it for cheap.
And is there anything that you're trying to differently for the second one? I know you got a new logo, which looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, thank you. The thing we're doing is, well, always I want to just rotate acts.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Not the same people every time.
Yeah, and not for the sake of, like, just making new friends. Like, there's just so much out there, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all new acts. This time we have finger foods, some vegan finger foods.
Yeah.
That was just, like,
I know
an
Banu
oversight.
is on there.
Yeah, okay, you know.
She cooks like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was just like, that was one of the biggest things that was an afterthought in the past for my other events was just food. And, you know, if you're staying there for 6 hours, it's like,
That's
get
actually
cozy.
a very
Like, actually get cozy.
I need some mouth pleasure.
Yeah.
that's very cool
And pretzels is like,
because
not
usually people like will focus on like I don't know, like they'll have some musical acts or maybe dancing and then some live painting.
right.
And then
Yeah.
that's it. Like
Yeah.
they don't think anywhere beyond that. Now you're bringing people who cook because there's
Yeah.
people who are very into that, and that by itself is an art form. Like the shit that
definitely.
Banu be cooking
Oh my
sometimes, and
God.
I'm like, wow, like the way the plate is arranged, you can tell like thought was put into it and like effort.
Yeah.
And then to have someone just be able to come through and just like either like a live cooking that's cool too, or just like bringing shit that
She
they've
might be
cooked
doing
or yeah,
both.
that's pretty cool.
I can't spoil too much, I guess. But, yeah, because there was actually somebody proposed an idea to me called Synthesia, and it was like music that matched the food that was being served at the event.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a combination of senses.
Yeah.
And I just like, I kind of had that in the back of my head for a lot of it, because like smells are important.
What else do you have? So you have some people cooking. You have musical acts. What else?
Yeah, we got 2 live painters.
Ooh.
And then we got photography on display, just of some friends that I have. And then some paintings on display and for sale. We also have some clothing makers. I know you're bringing more back, eh?
That's tight.
You're on the poster, so you have to. And then Alex Whiteley's another guy that makes
Yeah, I know
pants.
Alex. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I
cool,
met him
yeah.
at the pop up you did at Ottawa Art Gallery.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
cool. He has like
Yeah, I
crazy
missed
screen
out on
printing
some
shit.
pants there.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
pants were crazy there.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Sorry if I missed anyone. It ends up being a long list. You know, I look for like 7 of each thing.
Dude, I was so
And
hyped
it ends
when
up being
I
more.
was so hyped when you DM me
Oh,
because I was
bro,
like,
no,
I
it's
saw
gonna be
the
good.
whole like backyard thing,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, that'd be such a cool like vibe like to have
It's so
it there.
organic. Like when I went last
Yeah.
time, it's just like
Because it's like
great.
home party, right? It's just like everyone's chill. It's just like usually home parties, I feel like people are more engaged, even though you might find some people on
Definitely.
their phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people go to parties to have a good time, like to
Mhm.
dance or whatever. But usually when it's club scenes and venues, people go there with a. I feel like they
the
go.
intention to flex.
Yeah, I
something.
feel like they go either to flex something or because they want something from it. Like they want to meet new people, get more
Yeah.
popularity, some more like followers. Like they want to meet new people who
Right.
might put them on this kind of map.
Business cards,
So not
man.
going for it, they're going because they want something out of it. Like it's not the end, it's the means.
True.
So
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I feel like that being like labeled and branded as an house party, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
There's still gonna be music, there's gonna be food,
Yeah.
and then there's gonna be extra shit that you can consume if you're into all of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Without that layer of what do you call it? Without that
There's definitely
layer
a barrier, man.
yeah.
Like, because there's no. Sometimes it feels weird when adults are in charge.
Yeah,
You know, these levels good. Yo.
that is true.
My bolt's going off. Did you hear that?
Oh, we
You love weird noises.
Yeah.
Oh, my little stupid computer. It goes. Are you paused your ride on my bike? Did you hear that? The little beep beep beep.
No?
Oh,
You have a machine on your bike?
yeah.
Holy
for?
shit.
I'm that guy. It's just a GPS.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, so if you get stolen.
No. Like for recording like speed distance.
Oh, that's
sick.
cool.
game.
Damn, that's a cool ass with
Yeah.
thick ass wheels too. I think it's in the shot, so they'll see it.
Oh. I better get that. There it is.
Okay, so I know the reason why I wanted you on is because we're very into design, but we haven't really gotten to talk about it. Mainly because we don't really have much that we know like about
It's
it.
kind of like it's become a byproduct of our craft,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm in the design
Yeah. in the
program.
minor,
That's
right?
how I met you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When or how or why actually all three did you get into like design? Because I know you have an account dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Which is why I messaged you because I kept seeing it and I was like, oh, this is so sick.
Yeah. Well, where I am now is like, I feel like an industrial designer. But before any of that happens, anyone in my program, like they just, you just want to build stuff, but it's not just to build stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think something changes when you want to build something for other people or like make anything for other people
Yeah.
with some
Utility.
thought behind it. Yeah. Utility. I guess
There's a
purpose.
lot of aspects: utility,
Yeah.
accessibility, ergonomics.
But I think that's one of the big things that changed because I love painting and I love doing stuff for myself.
Yeah.
I love building stuff, but that just by definition isn't design. And now I feel like when people want to make something together, what I bring is just a thought to it. Like, yeah, even when people say like, what do you want to do as a designer? It's like, I want to make events. And I think it's not usually seen as a product.
Yeah, they don't get
but
that.
But it is. Like
it is. Yeah, there's design that goes into it.
Yeah, and I really want to design the whole experience of it. I just think there's a lot, and I want it to be not noticed, like subconscious.
right. really
when
subtle
you're-
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's like I don't know if you're into Kanye, but the thing that he's been doing with the Sunday services,
yes, exactly.
how he sets up those events and how everyone is
there's no,
placed. And the one at Coachella was very cool, how they did
Mhm.
it in a mountaintop, and it was like the setup, all the instruments and all the people are set up there,
mhm.
and there's the big mountain, and then around there's a fence, and the people can watch. It's
Yeah.
like it's very simple shit, which is something that it's also like a very Kanye thing to do, like just very simple things.
Yes.
But he also has access to so many people who have like experience in those fields that can help him like bring those ideas to life. But I get what you mean, and that's design, right?
Oh, definitely.
To organize an event, and from not only from the concept of the event, also how you like
Interact with the
Yeah.
space.
and and like the
It's
space
so
that
smooth that you don't even think about it. That's
Yeah.
how well thought out it
Well,
is.
it's like, like we think of the show as the people on stage, but it's everything there.
It's
Like
a
it's the
show.
crowd too.
Yeah.
Like what do you give the crowd? How are
Yeah.
they feeling? How are they moving?
Arrangement of
Oh,
open
yeah,
space, negative
everything.
space.
I always think like I scan when I go to festivals because I'm like, something's either so good or something's either so wrong.
Yeah.
When people are happy. Like if you look at a DJ show, why are they still on the stage? Why why aren't they in a circle where
That's
everyone's
true.
around them?
Yeah.
Because you can do that, like
Boiler
stadium
room.
tours. Yeah, exactly.
Boiler Room
They're
is
behind
that's
them.
what they did very perfectly. I don't know if you've seen
'Cause, yeah.
I don't know what it's called. Is it Field Day? That they had some kind of event thing. I just saw JPEG Mafia's performance there,
Okay.
and his thing was a square,
Yes.
and then all around the
So-
square is just a crowd, and he's just
Okay.
in the middle of it, and he could just perform like walk around the square, and then in the
Yeah.
middle of the square is like the equipment, and then there's security all around it, and it's so simple.
Such a
It's
good
just-
idea.
Yeah, and he can jump in the crowd because he does that a lot.
Because he
And-
doesn't have instruments, he doesn't need a backstage.
Yeah.
And that's a
So that's the part. Would
a
you say like
game-changing thing.
would you say good design is intuitive?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
'Cause-
good design just thinks of the end user. So just by nature of that, intuitive.
Yeah, you don't really have to think about it. It's easy to pick up.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's probably why the iPhone was so successful.
Yeah.
There's one button, and now it doesn't even have a button anymore.
There's a lot of things about Apple that and I get why people don't like it. Like maybe the capabilities are like lower, but a lot of it comes down to how many times you click stuff. Like they think of their path about how many clicks you have to do to get something done. You
Wow.
can see that a lot in MacBooks.
Damn.
Yeah,
It's fucking
I back
crazy.
Apple. I mean, like there's a lot of trash stuff, but in terms of design, just thinking how people use it.
Would you say it went a bit downhill after Steve?
Ooh, it deviated.
Because when did Steve? On which iPhone did Steve die? He died after
don't know.
iPad 2
Okay.
and I think iPhone 5.
Yeah,
iPhone
I don't even
5 or
remember. I
4.
feel like it was
either.
like 2012.
It
when
was
he
one
died.
of those. So from there they did the
Must have
6.
been 5. If it's 12, then must have been the 5.
But what's interesting is like Johnny Ive did a lot of the design work.
Yeah, he's the lead designer, right?
Yeah, I think he might have just left.
Oh,
I could be wrong, but it's not just
Oh, that
to
would
say
be
that Steve
crazy.
Jobs, was everything to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, he wasn't, because Johnny played a big role.
Yeah, and he did so many things.
Mhm.
For,
I'm pretty sure he designed the first iPhone, and then the second one, the first iPod. I know he designed it,
yeah,
and it was crazy to see reading about how they basically had the idea and they had to figure out how to make it happen. And the way Steve, that's how like basically how Steve did it. He was just like, I want
it's
this
impossible.
and
but
this. It was like I mean, it's just like, why is a conductor of an orchestra important? That's usually what the people ask. They're like, what's the point of this guy going like this? That's basically what Steve was.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people could discredit him, because all he was just like, I want it to not have buttons. I want it to just be a touchscreen. Figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, because if you're stuck on knowing how to do stuff exactly, like sometimes you can't think beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, you
So
take
he was
risks.
just the brains. He was just telling everyone like, hey man,
Mhm.
I want this, I want that. And then he found Johnny, I think like when he came back after leaving for Next, when he came back into Apple, before doing the first iPhone and the first iPod, and when shit actually blew up for them.
Yeah.
He found Johnny, and then they figured out how to do the iPod. They got parts and it was amazing how they were so like obsessed with how to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And you could see how successful it was when they actually managed to do that, and how it blew up. Like, it was so natural that just using their products, and it brought something so new that it just the success just came with
Yeah.
it. What do you think? Where do you think Apple is at now? Because I don't know if you know the history of Apple, but when Apple came out, IBM was leading shit. IBM was the big company, right, making computers in terms of that field. But now Apple is the big guy. Do you think Apple's at a point where they need a new Apple, where they've become IBM, and there's a new Apple that's like?
I think Apple's
waiting.
lost control, so whoever's in the room now is going to change it for the better. You know what I mean? Like Apple had like a strict set of rules on how to do stuff, but that's all changing now. Like they're partnering with Samsung.
Oh, they are.
You know, like,
yeah. Isn't it for the screens?
Yeah. Like there's a lot of rules that they're breaking from the Steve Jobs era that I think will keep them in charge.
Okay. Aren't they like the first $1 trillion company?
Are they?
I think
man.
they are, yeah.
Man, you've done your research on Apple. I should have.
Trillion. No, I think
I
I got.
read one book and now it knows.
No, not
everything
even
about
for that
Apple.
book. It
What
was
book
just
was it?
Steve Jobs one?
Becoming Steve Jobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently
yeah,
that's better. Apparently that's better than the Steve Jobs book Walter Isaacson wrote, because apparently that one painted him more negatively than the other one. And the other one, the guy actually knew him, and they were like pretty much friends. They were like a year difference in age in terms of like school and shit. So they had a better relationship, and the guy knew more about Steve personally than the other guy.
Yeah.
But what's like how long ago have you been doing design for?
I guess the year before I started university, because I'd never drew before, and the first year I applied, I didn't get in. Like, you know, it was hard to get in. You have to speak the language. So I spent my first year trying to figure out, you know, what it took to get in, and it's just like a portfolio. You know, it's.
What do you mean by speak a language?
It's like, well, yeah, it's a good point. I mean, when I had a problem of, let's say, okay, so in my portfolio, I had a storage bin thing that I wanted to set up, and the language to it is like, how do you display your information to people? Like, you got to show top views if they're important. You got to show side views if they're important. Like bikes, you rarely see a top view. It's not as important. You see a side view because you get a better profile of it. So the language is just how you best communicate.
It's like, how do you put that idea into understandable terms?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's aesthetic, but I cut that word out of my, you know, like it's visual languages.
Yeah.
But it is language too, because visual aesthetic is such a small part of it. Like when you get the physical things that you make, it's touch and smell and everything.
Yeah.
So aesthetic doesn't cover the basis.
Yeah, it doesn't cover everything.
Doesn't cover everything in design.
The way I see design is like, to me, good design is actually, I want all three of us to give like our definition of that. To me, good design is, and to keep it the most simple, in the most simplest way, I think it's something that is both visually pleasing in terms of like in the visual sense of things, but also very useful. Like you can have a something that's designed well, but it's very useful, but it doesn't look that great. Or you can have something that looks great and serves no
I think
purpose.
for the visual part, it depends really where it's being used. Because like if it's at the hospital, like you're just gonna have like metal toilets and shit because it's sanitary. You don't really need the visual aspect, because sanitation is the most important thing.
Yeah, true.
So I think it depends where.
But if you can pull that off, it's even better.
Is it? I mean, it would be, but I think
like,
going that extra step,
nice toilet.
sometimes the margins aren't as important.
Yeah, true.
I mean, the first thing I think of is like no instructions needed. Like things that you interact with should tell you how they work and what you're supposed to do.
Facts.
Because like the best design, it's a cliche, but it's the shovel. Because you know what it does. And
or it's like you buy a pair of pants, like why are the pockets
and you know,
here and not
exactly.
at the bottom?
There's a lot.
This is good design right there.
What's that?
Fucking Tesla.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's automated perfectly. You know, like the mirrors closing.
Sorry, just back to the point of when you were saying language. I think Garvey was mentioning, Professor Thomas Garvey, he was mentioning that like you want to make it understandable so that it's like you want to make it understandable so that everyone understands it. So it's not like,
universal.
You understand this, universal, So you don't have to explain it again. Because
like
you're not going to be the
words or icons instead of words, or colors and shapes instead of
like how it's used, motions, all that.
Shape over color too. Some people have color problems.
Oh yeah.
But that's not all. It's not a it's not a rule.
So many layers. I love that.
Design. Yeah, it's like it's the most simple and complicated. I like trying to talk about design. I don't even know where to start because there's so many things, but it's also like super
everything
abstract to me, like talking about it, because design goes to so many places. Like this place was designed, this computer was designed, these mics were designed, so it's everywhere. Like nature itself, like the world itself is designed. Like it's it's probably the most beautiful design that we have, and all we do is try to replicate it.
I think it's romanticized a lot because it takes a step away from art. Like it's not an implied message.
The nature aspect, or
just like design itself is so like it should be simply put.
Yeah.
Or like let's say art in a different field isn't just simply put. Like you have to do something to understand it.
Yeah.
You have to sit, you have to think. But design, it kind of...
That's true.
It flows.
Yeah, it tells you what it does, or...
Right, it simplifies.
It does, yeah.
I was just mentioning to you that before we started.
Ideally.
The wise man simplifies complicated things, not complicates simple ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's romanticized a lot. Like to design, anything. Like a good design will just come to you if you listen or watch how people use it. Or you think how I want to do something.
I mean, I know you make merch, but do you plan on getting into clothing part of design?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I sew a lot, and I do like the merch for Congrego. But the direction I want to take with clothing is it's a few steps away. You know, like I want to do a lot of industrial materials, and the budget
like
for that comes
workwear sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, same.
Because a lot of the time I just feel
I love it.
I don't feel comfortable in clothing because I'm afraid to break it.
Yeah.
And you want to be in clothing,
and also it's like if you're gonna wear something,
feel that.
Might as well have pockets. Might as well have the utmost functionality, zippers, Velcro, all that.
And it doesn't have to look tacky, and it doesn't have to look over. It just it's just got to work with how I like to live. I find that misses a lot.
That's the concept behind my the reason why I wear that jumpsuit.
Yeah.
It's because it's a work, like when I mean sometimes I forget to put it on because to me making music and shit when I'm in my room is just it's automatic, right? So sometimes I forget to put it on, but it's hanging in my room all the time. And sometimes I just take it out and just put it on before I start making shit.
Yeah. Wow.
Like all while making Scouts last year.
I'm gonna do that from now on.
All while making Scouts last year, I was wearing it like all the time.
Steve Jobs outfit.
So before, and sometimes just a lot of people say before you start like not necessarily making art, but just before homework or whatever, or even going to sleep, having a ritual is very important. So that would be part of the ritual, right? I would get I would fill a bottle of water. I would meditate, and then I just the act of putting it on, it's like, okay, I'm about to make shit. Like you're getting your mind set for it. Yeah, basically, you're getting your mind set for it, and it's nothing crazy to anyone looking at it. Some people might see it as pretentious, but to me, it's so important.
No, it's
and
important.
I think that's why for Doja, like I'm really focused on getting to a point where I make like uniforms and workwear.
Yeah,
because to me, Dickies is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Like Dickies makes like
it looks the same as it did in the 90s. Like that's good design.
And it's still relevant. Like visually it's still relevant and even in functionality you can feel like how resistant it is to whatever work you may do. And I love that shit. I love it so much. And
not only that, but it's like it's gonna last so much longer.
Yeah, it lasts. So
just the sustainability problem.
Oh my god,
gets
yes.
diminished
because we have to make stuff. But
question: How would you find a solution to design your way around that problem, or to just solution your way through that? Because now it's like
which problem?
To me, clothing. If I do printing for a piece, let's say I wanna sell a T-shirt, I'm buying the T-shirt off of a company. The company sends it to me in a plastic bag. That's already one problem. Yeah. Two, mainly before like I actually looked into it and seen how bad like plastic actually is, and how it's like the consumption of it is kind of like taking a toll so much. I got a bunch of poly bags, which is polyester, so that's already shit. So I feel like now it's more focusing on, and then clothes cost a lot to make in terms of water,
dyes, manufacturing, construction.
So like, what would you say like a good first step? You already have a first step, which is basically what all Seam Reaper is.
Upcycling.
Yeah, upcycling. Yeah. What would you say that you would like right now if you could do something? Because it's very it's a very like short but gradual
Yeah.
like solution that you can come up with. But right now, what you say you could do to just like
Yeah, I
Small
mean,
steps.
slow down.
yeah, I mean, sustainability is all about like the full chain or the full circle of it. So if you look at designers changing where it comes from, it also affects how it's made. So
Education.
yeah, it really depends on what clothing, because there's a lot of,
Let's say merch for Congrego.
you know, well, we want a cotton shirt, right?
Give Seamer
Yeah.
So-
Seamer per commission.
Yeah, true. Collab on a logo. I mean, we want a cotton shirt, so where is cotton picked and where is it processed? Like,
Is
if
organic.
you think of the full chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, organic, the only bad thing about it is it's blends. So when it's not blends, it's okay, but when it's blends, you can't recycle it. And it doesn't just biodegrade. You have to do stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And it takes a lot of water.
yeah. So it is good on how it's sourced, but again, back to that full loop. Like, you got to address 10 points in it. So, okay, for us, it's a very simple problem, you know. Where we get the cotton, where it's processed, shorten the length of each step.
Yeah, there's probably more companies that are gonna start popping up that make specifically like
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah.
They have a service where the shirts are sustainable, and then the printing
Yeah.
process is also like nothing crazy going on, like
it's-
nothing for bad like dyeing and
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a better, more biodegradable dye, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
what
think
the difference would be.
for me, because like 7 billion people, it's like even if some people, like even if little steps are being taken, it's all down to the consumer. It's like, are you going to shop here or Walmart? And that's where it really breaks down. It's like people want a quick solution without knowing the consequences. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
you want that polyester shirt instead of buying this wool or cotton
Yeah.
sweater. It's okay.
Have you ever walked toward off the bus to my house from the route where you go next to the Max and the Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
Bro, I feel like such a dick walking home because I realized there is a fucking like, what's the word for shit that's like not processed again? Organic. There's an organic fucking market 5 minutes from my house
Where
on
is
that
this?
walk home. Like Gatineau. I live in Gatineau.
Bro, but even organic it's kind of like it's manipulated because
oh yeah,
it's like
Because it is
who's
a marketing
actually
tool
selling
as
it.
well.
It's a marketing
Can
tool.
you-
Sometimes.
Can you trust it? Because the people who are actually certifying it, they're in favor of industry, not people's health.
But also, if something says it's organic, there's accountability because someone could just buy it and decide to test it to see if it's actually organic. And if it's not, they can sue you because they have proof.
I guess,
Oh,
but
I
they still have
suppose.
the label.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, there's like, I think Paul Check mentioned there was like 90 different certifications for organic food.
Oh,
Who's
say
this?
word.
Paul Check, he's
Oh.
this
You don't know?
spiritual,
No.
spiritual, why is this person on Earth?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
we'll plug you to his
Paul Check,
podcast
yeah, okay.
after, yeah. But
So good.
Huh.
Like, so good.
That's good. You got to be skeptical about like the full chain of
Yeah.
the labels. We actually
'Cause
talked about
it's
that a lot
marketing.
in this year
Veganism,
design.
all of it is becoming marketing. Like, oh, thank God. I didn't mention this 21st episode with Laterra and I meant to, but I didn't. The way I see movements is it's the same thing that always happens, like punk. I can use because I've been getting into punk recently. The thing that happened with punk is when punk came out, it was new and it was uncomfortable because it was vastly different from what was going on.
Yeah.
It sounded
On
like
purpose.
it sounded like fuck you. The music sounds like fuck you. Like that's if I were to describe that sound, it just sounds like fuck you. Just from the way they would sing, it wouldn't sound. They wouldn't care about hitting the notes properly. It was all about we feel a certain type of way and we have to express it. And at the time that it came out, it was very like pushed away, like it stayed underground. And then the kids kept relating to it, and it became big. And then when it became big, the corporations got involved and became popular.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah,
the
true.
movement stopped. The movement stops as soon as it becomes mainstream.
When it's
That's
not
how
counterculture, yeah.
That's how I feel about movement because same thing with veganism, trans movement, gender movement. To me, it's not really a movement anymore. It's just stabilizing itself and like adapting itself into culture. Because now it's not like corporations are joining these things now. They're using it for
see.
marketing. Like
It's more
organic
of a
now
guise,
is
I think.
like when organic was new, it was like, no, that's weird. Like what does that mean? Like organic, I don't. Like it's
I
like
see
when
what
those
you mean.
when those things
Yeah.
are new, it's just like always.
I see what you mean, but I feel like it's kind of cynical because it's like, okay, then to begin with, what was the point of the movement?
Oh well, it's to adapt itself. It's
I
not,
think
and just because it's not a
To
movement anymore.
establish itself?
Just because it's
in
not
the
a movement
culture?
anymore doesn't mean it's not successful. The trans movement is successful because
Mm.
now it's accepted.
Oh, I see.
okay,
what
I
you
see,
mean.
I see. I
Like
see.
punk became accepted, but that's because but that now it becomes like hip hop
Mhm.
becomes the new punk.
Or, yeah,
Because now-
punk hasn't left. It's just changed its
Alright.
name.
Yeah, because hip hop when
Yeah.
it first came out was like, whoa, that's sketch. Like, don't play this around my
Right.
house. But now hip hop is the new thing. The hip hop is not punk anymore.
Mhm.
I think the problem arises when you try to monetize it,
Yeah.
and it goes away from the actual end goal of the movement. It's like, oh, let's veer off course a little bit so we can take advantage of these margins.
And
yeah.
that's-
Oh yeah.
And that's why I think it's no longer a movement as soon as they join it because they've accepted it now.
I
The
see.
corporations who
Mm.
were rejecting it have now accepted it because it's so powerful
Mm.
and they're so incapable of rejecting it anymore.
Mm.
That now it's like can't beat it, join it.
Mm.
Now let's make money off it
Right.
again.
And then the actual voices that began it are drowned out by
Mhm.
television.
And now it's time for
advertising, all that.
time for new movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, not to say that you're directly comparing the vegan and trans thing, but like, the goal of punk is just to fit in somewhere else. But I think
Mm.
the goal of trans people is to fit in everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, punk like wanted to keep to itself.
Yeah.
There's that gatekeeping aspect.
It was very elitist in a
But
way.
Trans people just want to fit
They
in.
just
Right.
wanted
And I
the
think that's-
acceptance and not seen as like a
Yeah.
fucking alien.
So I think even if there is a tipping point of like, I see what you mean. Like, a long time ago,
Yeah.
it was less in your face. You didn't know about it. You didn't know
Mm.
the intricacies of it if you didn't know someone directly. But now I think it's just
Becoming
let's
more
normalize
normal.
it.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
become
think
more
that's
normal.
a goal. But punk, wasn't the goal
Yeah.
to be normal.
It's
or even
it's
like
the same. It's the same thing, but it's the different variety of the same thing. It's like a movement, but against this, and the other movement is I want to become like
Definitely.
accepted in this.
Oh my God,
The other one
yeah.
is like I want to stay away from this,
Mm.
and
it's
they're
like
both
pride
movements.
parades. They don't want just people of that community.
Yeah, they don't want to just be. Yeah, they don't want to fucking.
everyone.
Yeah, they want everyone to like join, even
They
if
want
you're
straight
not
people
like.
there.
Yeah, it's, but that's the thing. What we so I'd say right now the main movement is this like sustainability. It's like, but now
Oh, I
companies
see
are
what you mean.
slowly joining, and
Yeah.
hopefully they start to because H&M does this thing where they take clothes, like you could bring a bag of clothes. Doesn't have to be H&M, any type of fabric. What they usually do is they just break it down
Oh, good.
and then they reuse those fabrics to make new clothes.
Wow, I'm glad to hear H&M
And-
specifically is doing that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look very into like what the process of that
And
is.
even with that, it's like, oh, so I have this prison. I have two prisons. I kill everybody in one, and then the other one,
Yeah.
I'll feed them
bottom line
really
is
well.
still
Yeah.
Horrible.
It's like, are you really making that much of a
Have
change?
Two prisons. I love
It's just
that.
it's a scapegoat. It's a scapegoat kind
Right.
of.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
because if they really wanted to make change, like it would be drastic. What they're like, their whole branding would change.
It's like Apple buying back like products. It's like because they're running out of gold,
Hmm.
not because they don't want it in the garbage.
Say word.
But pretty much only gold.
But also you have to realize like what you're doing now too as a solution is very small. As a company, those ways of doing things are already set up,
That's true.
and they have people they
You can't
already
just turn it
work
on
with.
its head. Yeah.
Yeah, they have people. They're not necessarily working by themselves. They have people they work
What's
with
that,
who already work
upcycling?
those ways. Yeah,
just-
just like the
yeah.
making more sustainable and not contributing to the
Recycling.
issues.
Well, it's just like you offset by taking one pair of pants that I wouldn't have bought through,
Yeah.
Yeah.
worse means.
And
But-
then, and
but
then
it's just-
beautifying them.
It's just they
Yeah.
still have to slowly work their way in it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
They
'Cause
could
you
take.
could never mass market that. It would ruin the whole
Yeah, they
idea of it.
will probably lose
That's
money
true.
too if they just like completely just said, all right, we're only gonna make clothes now from recycled
Mhm.
like material.
Mhm.
Like they'd lose money, and the whole point of them doing it would go
Yeah.
out because
and the
now
industry
they're not,
doesn't even function like that either.
Yeah,
so.
so I
Mhm.
think it's this whole thing of this idea we've created,
Mhm.
which was whatever was before what we need now.
Mhm.
And now that we're in this idea, we need to figure out how to get out of it slowly but surely without destroying ourselves.
Mhm.
Because
Without
the
turning
idea
it into
was
a desert.
yeah, the
And
idea
nothing
was
living, yeah.
the idea was gas cars. We figured out how to like make cars and travel around. And then now
Mhm.
gas is polluting this place.
Yeah.
And then we figured out how to make clothes, how to better packaging. Because plastic is very useful. It's malleable.
Oh, it's
you
so
can use
good.
it for so many different things, but now you can't break it down, so it's just there.
Yeah, depends, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's probably
Most of it
expensive
you
too.
can- yeah. Mostly
And
the
some
cost.
and some plastic, there's probably better ways that
And
you can
the
manufacture
sorting
it.
and the
Yeah.
if you have this complex of a thing going out, your system needs to be that complex going
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
But it's not.
So it's like we figured out plastic, but now we have to figure out how to get out of it. But we've figuring it out took so long, and now that we've been using it for so long, it's a habit. We're trying to break habits.
Or we could just move to another planet.
Yeah, I feel like that's what Elon's doing.
Fuck this place.
I wonder what kind of plastic they have there.
Yeah.
Very metallic.
Fuck, and that's. I feel like that's like most people's outlook to most things. It's like, I'm hungry. Let me just get Uber Eats.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're focusing
There's
too
no
much
effort
on
put into
easy.
it.
Yeah, we're falling victim a lot to easy. We're like, and that's funny because design solves problems, but those like
Those
two episodes,
solutions.
three
are-
episodes,
it's-
3 episodes straight. We've been talking about this, but those solutions to those problems will create new problems.
Right. Oh, yeah, and that's why we're kind of here.
Yeah,
You know,
And-
like if it's easy the way we're living now, it's like, well, yeah, I guess global warming should be coming.
yeah, because we're living.
Or
we're living,
people should be like, you know, still rioting or still, you know, having these movements.
We're living in the
There's
best
always
time.
problems.
And in terms of the West, probably globally too, we're living still in the best time because I heard some shit about Africa having even more, like they're living better now than they were before. They're figuring shit out. I don't know enough to like fully jump to conclusions about it. I just heard somewhere
Yeah.
about how like they're growing.
Well, it really depends on
economically,
the country because
and
some of them
also,
are
yeah.
like first world and some
Yeah.
of them are still
Yeah,
dark
because
ages.
South Africa I think is pretty good.
Yeah, from what I know, but
Yeah,
And best living, like best of times in terms of material,
yeah,
materially.
but that's doesn't mean that there's nothing like the way life works. Like life's design is that there's always gonna be something to solve. Because if there's nothing to solve, then like you're just gonna sit here like
yeah,
okay,
be so boring.
yeah,
Which
it's just
and
boring, right?
because like the material, the matter aspect of life is so taken care of, people are turning more to like, okay, what is actually my purpose here, and like we're getting more spiritual with things.
Yeah, existentialism.
Yeah, hopefully.
There's a lot
I
of
feel like it's
existentialism going on.
Certainly going that way.
And do you think
Yeah.
that's why psychedelics are getting more popular?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel personally like that I've felt more inclined to know about me rather than what I can do,
Yeah.
and that changes how you do things.
Where you can actually give back to the world.
Yeah, and even just like spend time on yourself and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like being selfish is bad, but it's like,
It's funny.
where's the line?
It's funny because you could almost break down anything in life to just two sides of a coin, because you can't be selfless without being selfish. You need to. I read it somewhere.
Even like when you're on the plane, they tell you to put your own mask on first before
Helping
your child.
someone
That's
else.
like a primal
And that's
thing.
funny.
I love that.
That relates perfectly to what I was gonna say. I read it somewhere. You can't save anyone until you save yourself. And there's no point
Right.
in trying to save anyone until you save yourself, because you'll disintegrate before you even save them. So you both die. So now you're like, your whole effort was for nothing. So when people say you're being selfish, it's very funny to think about, because like I'm just trying to make sure that I'm to a point where I can like sustain myself
And help
before
others.
before I can even help other people sustain themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why your whole point, like before, like life, why the most wise people and the most people who are usually down to like sit down and talk to you for hours are the oldest ones, because they've lived, like they've lived through all of those years, and they're just trying to give you the blueprints to what has helped them get all the way to 68 years old and all that shit. The guy we met on the bus, like it was this like, how old is he, like 60 something?
60 something.
And he was just
He's really good shape.
yeah,
actually.
very good shape, and he was just giving us a bunch of like random tricks on how to cut like plants so that they don't die.
The angle.
Like if you want to,
Yeah,
if you want to cut down if you
This
want to
guy
cut,
knows. Wow.
if you want to cut a flower to like gifts for someone or make a
surface area.
bouquet, if you want to make a bouquet, you can like cut it like diagonally
Yeah.
and like put like dirt on top of it, and it won't die. It'll just
Where
grow
did this guy
back.
plants?
Yeah, and it was just, and it's just how it works. It's you have to go through shit before you like you have to learn about yourself.
Yeah, there's something in you that
You need
just
to
wants
spend
to
the
share with
time,
someone.
yeah.
Like even I look at 15-year-olds that'll ask me about music, and I'm like, yeah, let's grab a seat. you know, and I get that advice too, and I'm like, fuck, I want to know how stuff is done. My parents will always say, just like go ask someone. They love talking about themselves.
Yeah, you could always find someone. That's why a lot of people in the self-help like industry that they stress about mentors. Because if you find someone who's way better than you are and you stay around them, you're gonna learn so much from them.
It's fast route.
Yeah. What like gravitated you towards like what you're doing now, like specifically design? I'm guessing this is what you want to do for a living.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm a musician too, and I want to like bring that through the events I make. Usually that's like part of my goal is like, okay, I'll make 6 new songs for the event.
I mean, music is design too. So.
Yeah, word. I mean, the design thing is like gonna be my career forever, but I don't know what the job is.
Like the specifics of it.
Yeah, and it's hard to know. I'm sure with all of our fields, like, it's hard to know where.
Yeah, exactly where you'll land. I don't.
You kind of have to job hop, or you have to.
Such a long game. Those things, especially
like
now.
What do I have to do what do I want to do when I graduate? Oh, even then, that's like 8 months away. I got so much shit to do before.
Yeah, even that, like it's such a long game. Like there's, especially like right now, and how like that's popular right now, and everyone like. It's so easy to get into it, right? The cost of entry of just being an artist, or even a businessman, entrepreneur, design anything is so the cost of entry is so low. You want to make music, DistroKid, like if you pay once, I think once a month or once a year or something,
14.
You could just post music, 100% royalties. You're good. You can start. You can find a beat online, easy. Buy one or get one for free. You could. You could crack Ableton, you could crack FL Studio, get it for free, start making shit. There's YouTube tutorials on it. You could just learn how to find a photo of a cool Tumblr girl, put it on a t-shirt, sell it. You can you can like start events. Everyone can start events now if they want. So it's like the cost of entry is so high, and that's a good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, it
creates market saturation.
It's like the good the good news is you keep like it's easy to start. The bad news is everyone can start. The bad news is everyone can start.
Everyone has to start. Yeah, it's like the initiative thing.
And also everyone can start.
Yeah.
So like even people who aren't necessarily like don't really care. Now it's just like it's so hard to like get taken seriously because it's like there's so many people I have to go through. Like most people have at least like 5 friends who are into like some kind of art or business thing.
You think?
So now you're like,
I guess,
man, I have to support these guys. I have to like. People feel obliged sometimes to consume their friends' art. So they'll be like, I have to take that, and then now I have to go to you. These other people who do this thing. I have to take you seriously, and it's a bunch of people at the bottom.
Taking me seriously,
and
that stuff
it
feels like
I'm patronizing you. It's like I don't even want to make you feel like this because it's not organic. It's like
I'm like the worst event planner I know, just because the event planners I know are event planners, right? Like the taking yourself seriously is just it hurts.
Yeah,
I feel bad for kids that are like young and on social media. I mean, I feel bad for all of us because if you want to be an entrepreneur, you kind of have to. There's no off switch.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's in your blood.
You gotta
too.
be on that.
Like when adults will be like, "You have access to so much information. Your project should be better than what I did as a kid." It's like, but we're still like the same humans. Like,
and we still got to compete with
different,
everyone around us who has the exact same amount of information.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like the quality might be improved. I mean, it improves every day, but so much stress.
Yeah, I don't think we necessarily grew up on social media.
Thank goodness too.
But this generation, like because there's 12 to 13-year-olds who spend their days on Instagram. We didn't used to do that at 12 to 13.
I guess
12 to 13, it was getting introduced.
Yeah.
Like Instagram was still new.
Posted.
Like it was Facebook, and Facebook was kind of still
feels
weird.
Like a lifetime.
Yeah, I know, right? But now
we
like
actually got to play outside.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're like growing up on social media. Like there's kids like growing up on that shit. There's kids consuming.
Yeah. What I would say is it's like not their choice in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
like I still see kids that are like reading books, and I'm like, I didn't read books growing up. You know, like
I didn't read books.
There's something that if you're faced with a screen for long enough, I'm sure you get tired of it. It's not like these kids are just different.
Yeah.
I mean,
like it's got to boil over.
I guess because like the kids want to move. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
but it becomes. It's just because kids are so like they just pick up patterns like crazy.
Yeah.
So because they do, it's like it's really dangerous that if they are on their phones, they'll just resort to that when they're older.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think the point that I was trying to make is that like growing up on it when you're a sponge. And you're still trying to figure yourself out. at 12 to 13, anywhere from 10 to 15. Like, it's the high school years where you're trying to like find out who you are, what you like, what you're into. But not only do you have to go be around those people at school, now you're around those people online.
Yeah, supermodels.
But you're handed like an algorithm too, so that you love it.
Yeah, so that you stay on there and you keep consuming it and
That's
whatever.
even worse.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think in this era, I'd say the most important thing would be self-awareness, which is exactly what you've been talking about. We're at such a point where we have so many solutions in the material sense that we're becoming existential. We're like, okay, now I need to start figuring out like, okay, step back, meditation, like psychedelics are becoming popular because like now we need to figure out how to handle all of these things. Because I feel like we're at a point where we feel like these things are evolving past us, and we just need to take a moment to just like kind of like catch up a bit.
That's a weird thought. I hear a lot of people saying like AI is out of our control.
Yeah, AI is one big talk.
I'm like, just because a car can run you over doesn't mean it's out of your control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing with the self-driving cars is the main thing why it's like it's not being allowed
even
yet.
when they first invented cars or trains, you know, like just because they're bigger doesn't mean they're out of your control.
So scary.
I don't know. I have an optimistic outlook on a lot of AI stuff.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like it doesn't exist yet. It's in a known, so you can say whatever you want about it. Like
you don't
the
think
AI
it exists?
Well, the AI that we're talking about.
Oh, I see.
The one that like people are saying that
would
it's like
take over.
Like self-sustaining AI.
Or
like
self-reproducing.
I don't even know if this is true, but this is like 2 years ago. I heard that I think Facebook and Google they shut down some code because it started creating its own language.
Yeah.
They started communicating in their own language.
And the data mining thing about what is it, like the throwback where it's like you 10 years ago. So there was this trend where you'd post like, I could be getting this wrong, but it was you, let's say 10 years ago, and you today.
Yeah.
Like
I remember that.
But it was data mining.
It's narcissism
so that you could learn facial recognition even through change in age.
Fuck.
Right? And like it started as a trend, but the amount of mining that goes on through that, because it's, you know.
And with the Face app thing too.
What's the Face app?
It's the thing that allows you to make yourself look old, like you take a photo of yourself.
Oh yeah.
Apparently that's the Russians. Apparently that's the Russians that are keeping the data, because you need to. I'm pretty sure you need to make an account to use that.
Okay.
So email, name, password, probably phone number, and then now they have a photo of your IP address and then photo of your face.
Yeah, literally.
And it seems so innocent, right? Like, oh yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
But like
on top of
I
that,
can't tell how malicious it is though. Like,
if you want to get like,
you don't think it's malicious?
If you want to get super like
to me,
like,
or like the
freaky,
information they get,
because
like to you,
because that's just a thing. Like we don't know if it's for sure. I don't think it's proven that it's just like the people making it are doing it. It's like I feel like if you want to get conspiracy like about it, you could probably like suggest that, because that would make sense.
I mean, this is what I've heard. I've heard that the Russians have been doing this since time, like just infiltrating like other countries, like the U.S. to gather information and then use it against us.
Well, that's the
because
Cold
there's
War
tension.
Threat, right?
Yeah, there's tension between those two states. Countries.
I'm sure it happens.
And what easier way than to get people to consume that app, take a picture of their faces, all that.
And also talking about AI with the China thing, because there's this new system they have where they have cameras,
social status too,
everywhere.
Oh yeah, is that actually happening?
Yeah. So
I checked my
watching,
Uber score the other day, and I was kind of pissed.
That's like hella
my
Uber
score. So like, yeah, it kind of scares me. It's like a 4.88.
What's an Uber score?
It's your rating based.
Your rating.
Okay.
It's like a.
Like for driving or as a customer?
Customer.
Damn.
So I messed up. Like what happened? You know, like, it's an amazing score, but what do you? Yeah, that's scary.
I think that's the 1984 thing of it,
though.
It's like China, bro. Like,
and I don't want to blow it out of proportion and like.
Yeah, you don't want to jump to conclusion. But
doesn't seem.
But the whole point of it is that they watch your behavior and then they kind of set a profile of you based on that. So that before you get it into a job, when they have your name and you apply, they see your score based off the tracking that you've been had. So let's say you've been having a bad day and you're just in a bad mood. Like that affects your reputation so much because you're in that bad mood. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be in their heads about it, and they're going to be trying to fake it. Yeah. Like, like you've seen the Black Mirror with the giving people ratings, which is that one was fucking freaky
because it's already here.
Yeah, it's like followers and that's kind of a currency in a way. Like if I
saw it last night.
What?
Well, just you know.
Same episode?
No, just like in real life with people.
Oh.
What was the situation?
Well, just
You don't need to name drop.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. Just knowing that I'll see them on Instagram within a few minutes, and that first handshake meant, you know, so much on a beyond friendship level.
Yeah.
It was like our whole network was involved with how good this interaction was. And it's like, oh, it's so tiring.
Yeah. And,
Man,
then you have to kind of reciprocate that same energy
Yes.
on virtual. It's like, oh, let me like their image.
It's criminalizing that we're all just saying like,
Yeah.
oh, we have to pretend.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I saw someone.
I feel like
Oh,
everybody
everyone,
feels
yeah.
that way too, though.
I saw an acquaintance once. It was like small talk. She got on the bus, and then we spoke. I was like, "Hi, how are you? Blah blah blah. Are you going to school? Yeah, what class? Blah blah." Blah. And I sat, I think, behind her, and then I saw her, or maybe next to her, and I saw her post a photo on Instagram. And the crazy thing was, once she, like, spent so much time probably debating what photo to post.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
so much time trying to
man.
figure out what's the best
I
thing
have
to
some of
post.
those.
And it felt like she was trying to like figure out, is this gonna do good? Like
Oh,
before
it
she
is,
posted
man.
it.
We're all
or-
business people.
And then
right?
and then she like as she posted it, I saw her like stay on the photo and then just refresh.
Metrics, man.
refresh.
It's like
And it
the
was
sign
so
of a
crazy.
good business person, but it also affects every dopamine injection you
Yeah.
get, or every serotonin.
Dopamine, yeah.
What is it?
I think it's dopamine.
It's dopamine, but serotonin is also related to happiness,
Mhm.
I think.
But it's business on a psychological level,
Yeah.
and that's where I.
Because I think we get dopamine
It
wrong.
hurts.
Because dopamine, I think, is to reinforce the behavior. So you get dopamine when, let's say, when we're fasting, you get dopamine from
Completing
smelling
it.
the food.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Dopamine from completing it because it'll reinforce you doing it next time, knowing that there's those benefits,
I
right?
see.
Okay.
But serotonin
Like
levels,
operant conditioning.
yeah, serotonin levels are more in like related to your mood and boost like energy. So we may have that wrong. I could look into it more.
I think dopamine is the reward system.
Yeah, it's rewarding, but it also rewards you because like when we were hunter gatherers, when you'd find a river, you get dopamine, and then when you're going through that, like basically when dopamine gets released, it's not only when you're doing the behavior, it's the whole path towards doing it.
Oh, I see.
Even thinking
Because
about it.
to find that river again, the way the brain would work, it would give you dopamine once it sees that you're on the path, and you get that satisfaction. You're like, oh
I
shit,
see.
I know. Okay, I'm on the right way.
That's
And then
cool.
you find it, dopamine again. So now you're like, okay, now I know, and then eventually
You
you
get
don't
some
even have to
muscle
think
memory.
about it.
Yeah.
So that's
That's cool.
what dopamine does, and it's funny because we don't necessarily need that anymore in terms of like hunter gatherers,
In
but
terms of
now
survival, yeah.
that
But
system
navigation,
that
like,
system
yeah.
is being abused in a way for profit, right? Because all of those
Oh, I see.
companies make
Yeah.
money off ads.
Right. And your thought path or your like decision path online.
Yeah, and it's so
Yeah.
easy, right? That pathway to open Instagram, and also when you get that notification, the if your ringtone is on, that ringtone,
I love
Dopamine.
I get so much dopamine.
dopamine. You're like, oh,
I
You feel it in
really
your
does,
stomach.
but-
It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
Fuck yeah.
novelty. You get that new text message. Oh shit, novelty. Answer it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then that's being abused
It's like
because,
the cheapest drug going.
and then that's why they give you what you want. Also, like what you like, you get more like it.
like that
And-
Gillette commercial, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah,
I do fit in.
yeah. If you feel like if you're into that, if you've been consuming that, and with Google, it's gonna get even crazier. Google Home, Alexa, like now. I mean, that's conspiracy, but assuming they're listening to you all the time, they know what you're consuming. They don't even need to listen to you all the time. Honestly, you're using the internet all day.
Yeah.
They don't even need to listen to you because just by using the internet, you're giving them all the data they need.
Yeah.
Your Google searches, what you buy online. Like Amazon probably has so many partnerships with other companies that will show up in non-Amazon things.
It's like funny to think 20 years ago to be in courts saying like, don't sell my information to the people in charge. Like it's crazy that it's worth so much.
Yeah, I
that
feel
we're
like
here.
even with the Facebook thing, I don't even think he's in control, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he meant for it to
Like
get.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I don't think he
Oh,
meant
yeah,
to
no
get
way.
for it to get that out of control. I think someone else
Company
is
that
pulling
size,
those
like,
strings.
Yeah.
Because like it's powerful.
Mhm.
So he's like, why not just use it to our advantage? Whoever is using it.
Yeah, I think every corporation gets to a point where whoever started it is really, really not in control anymore. Like,
Yeah, because there's a
for
lot of sharks
Facebook
behind
to
the
get-
scene
For Facebook to get that
that
big,
see
like,
good ideas, and then they say, "I'm in charge."
Yeah.
For him to be able to control that, bro, I don't believe it. Like, I don't think he's even at a point where he's like fully in control.
Bro, you can see his eyes. He was fucking scared.
In that interview?
He's like, okay, I have to save face.
It seemed like he held his own. Like, I don't want to pick a side, but it seemed like he did.
Well,
they also had really bad questions, like really unresearched questions. So that made his case a lot better. They're like, do I get an email if he's like, no? And then they're like, wow. So Facebook isn't that bad. Like, they completely missed any question or any answer they could have got.
It could have easily been staged too. Like, who knows? I'm just conspiracy.
Where it could have been.
Yeah,
Well, there's, it's like 4 people that are in charge of a lot of things in the same room. Yes, of course something could have been planned.
Yeah.
Or we didn't know just because they put it online.
And it's not even, it doesn't even matter. So what can we do with that information?
Like, I try to be optimistic about all that information we have. It's like, okay, if you mine how people move through traffic, it's like, next time I search how to get somewhere, it's going to be better data.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, there's so many positives of it.
It's valuable. I think in the end, bro, I don't know if you know Gary. I feel like you know Gary Vaynerchuk. He's actually way popular than I think he is.
The college guy, right?
Yeah. He said,
he's talks about
the Russian guy. He's like super high energy.
Well, he talks about how you can be like your own boss, kind of.
He's very motivational. He doesn't like to label himself as that because he's very practical, and motivational speakers just make you feel good. And then
tell
that's
you
it.
What you want.
To tell you what you want to hear, and then that's it. But he's very practical. He said, in the end, it's not the machine. Like, in the end, it's not social media that's making people shit. It's exposing you. It's exposing who you are as a person.
Yeah, like, we can't just say that evil is
like
Twitter.
Yeah, like it's not Twitter. They're abusing your dopamine. They're using that, but that's just the company trying to.
It's not the shooter, it's the gun.
Yeah, that's just the business model, right? They need to make money off those ads. So to get money off those ads, they have to keep you on so you can consume those ads. Because the way the ads work is you get money off of how many times the ads get seen, right? So that's just them trying to keep their company alive and make their money, right? So if you know this, and you keep on blaming it, and then you keep on doing that behavior, you're the problem. You're the one who has no self-control. It's not it that's controlling you.
Yeah.
You just don't have any self-control, and you're letting it use you.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's still you. Like, you're still the one who has to take the step to, like, figure out what the best solution is. It's that. That's why I set this one up.
Oh, cool.
I set this one up. I don't think your head's fully in it, but we got backup. We're getting a new camera soon because I know the camera is the main problem for this. We figured out the mic situation, but the problem you can just like move down a bit, on your right. I think it should be good enough. But like yeah, I know, right? Oh, it might pull it back. Actually.
I'll just angle. Oh.
What were you guys talking about?
It's just it's just about you, like in terms of those things. It's not necessarily like. Because we're using it as scapegoat.
Yeah.
Like, we're using
it's this thing's fault.
It's created.
I'm being oppressed.
It's a problem that's created. It's a solution that's created a problem, and then now instead of dealing with the problem, we're just like, oh man, like fuck, blame social media, blame Marc Zuckerberg, blame Instagram,
blame Marc
Snapchat.
Zuckerberg as if he made me go on this morning.
Exactly. It's like,
and I feel like you could design your life in a way where you can minimize those things.
Dude, Instagram has a thing where they set a reminder. Where you can set a reminder. I recently found it out. It's just very deep in the settings, but you can literally go in there and you put how many times a day, and then after you spend, like, I put mine for 20 minutes max, and in 20 minutes it pops up and I'm like, oh shit, and I just get off.
Nice.
But and it's like, if you hate Instagram, why are you on it? Just delete the
My business.
I know, but like.
No, I hear you.
If you hate it that much, why can't you just delete it?
I wouldn't say I hate it. So
take a little.
I know there are people that hate it, and I'm like, just go.
Yeah, if you think it's being detrimental to you, and your growth as a human being, why would you stay on it?
It's the
Dopamine,
drug,
man. Yeah,
and it's like,
so easy.
and at this point, it's become a drug, and it's the same thing as drug addicts. It's like, and yes, it's their fault. It's their responsibility. It's not, depends on how they started, what got them into it. It's not necessarily their fault all the time, but in the end, it's still you has to be willing to go I have a problem, and I need to fix this problem. And it might be difficult. It's always difficult, actually.
Admit it, kind of.
But at the end, I'll feel better.
Yeah.
But sometimes people see the one difficulty, and then two, sometimes people just deny it because they don't want to.
Well, everybody's on it. It's like, why?
Yeah, they don't want to
What's the
seem
issue?
like they're like, I'm addicted to social media.
And then
like,
I try to contact
like
people that don't have like Facebook or don't have Instagram. I'm like, yo, like I get mad, you know?
Yeah.
But obviously I shouldn't. It's just like I try to reach people. I'm like, why are you not on here? And it's like,
it's useful.
Because
so
sometimes
useful.
I need to get in touch with people, and it's like, I have deadlines
it's
for
like,
stuff.
what's your IG, you know?
Yeah.
But in the end, it's still your responsibility. It's like at mental wards, they don't accept you in there unless you tell them you want to be like enrolled in there.
Step one.
If you want to be taken in, they can't take you against your will. That's why with the Etika thing, when they called it and they said they were worried he was gonna hurt himself, the SWAT came, took him to the mental ward, and they only kept him in there until they judged that he was good enough to get out. He could have stayed to get extra help, but he didn't ask to stay, so they just let him go because it's illegal to keep them against their will. So it's still up to you to go, I have an issue. Like, it's still your responsibility. And some people sometimes are so deep into it that they don't even realize that they have an issue.
And it's so hard if you don't have a tool that can like pull you out of there. It's nearly impossible.
Or help,
yeah.
Well, I think that's I forget what year it is. You guys might know more about this, but at one point there was just more homeless people within a month because some law had changed where it was like family members couldn't admit someone to a ward or admit someone to a hospital. Because it had to be your own choice.
Damn.
But imagine you had, I'm not going to name a condition I don't understand, but like a condition where you couldn't, you would never admit yourself to
that's
it.
That's the
right?
weird.
Because there's something going on that stops you.
That's the point. That's the point where you can have a counter argument to that. Because sometimes, bro, like someone else might be a better judge. Because that person has the distance, right? They don't have that bias. They don't have that subjective point of view that you do, which you think is reality, which isn't. That person sees probably more clearly what you need than you because you're in it. Like, you're in it drowning. Like, you're in it drowning, and that person outside of the water, they could probably, like, put their hands in and trying to give you a little help up. But now it's
especially if it's family members, because
they know you. They know you best.
It's not always true.
Yeah,
like sometimes family.
Sometimes they're pieces of shit.
So it's a really hard argument.
It's funny because like parents think they know the best for you, and you think you know everything. It's like. Yeah, it's just it's complex.
Someone's got to work with the other.
Parenting is something that I can't wait to. I want to have children, so I can't wait to get into that, because parenting is something I feel like that is so simple, but has been complicated so much throughout the years. And just I think we both know this just from our experiences. It's just like, it's like especially like the third world and like the immigrant ones. I think a lot of them, and I think a lot of parents in general, they're very narrow-minded, and sometimes even if they care, their narrow-mindedness still makes them more detrimental towards you in the end, because like a protective parent is probably very detrimental for the kid who's like having to deal with that, because you're giving them everything and you're making life so easy for them, but life is not easy. It's like with
you're giving them so much that they have no more space to act on their own volition.
Do you feel like you had like a lot of did you feel you could do what you wanted as a kid, or were there strict rules? Okay. I wasn't sure what you were saying.
I'm kind of like in the middle, but I feel like
you had boundaries.
I have no idea how I got myself out of the mentality. It was a weird
yourself or your parents
of like my environment, really.
But I'm sure you have boundaries now.
Because I was in Haiti. I lived in Haiti until 2010. Okay. When the earthquake happened.
Oh, that was 2000.
To be honest, January 12th. Wow. It's the best thing to ever happen to me, because
you got to leave.
It got me out of this thing that I was in. Because all I was told my entire life was just like, this is how things are. It's like, it's the whole thing of people.
It's like the Brave New World. It's like you've been taught a certain way, and there's no other.
That's all there is.
Yeah. Well, what were things like in Haiti then? What changed?
It's things are very strict. School education is the only way.
Paramount.
It's the only way. There's nothing else. There's no such thing as not going to school and being successful. If you are, you either sold your soul or you were born rich, or you were just super lucky.
Being an artist is ridiculed.
It's ridicule. It's not a real job. Like I can't dye my hair. My hair being long, my parents hate it, but I've fought against it so much that they've just given up. My pants being not full length gets made fun of. Me wearing, that pink grandma sweater I wore. I have. I washed it, and then my mom took it out the wash and she was bringing it. She was like, "What is this? Is this like Allah's sweater?" I was like, "Nah, it's just mine." And she's like, "Well, why are you always doing these fucking ridiculous ass things? You're always fucking being a stupid clown." And she got so visibly mad about it just because of a shirt. And that's the narrow-mindedness. It's like to them, like the whole gay movement, trans, like white people, like anything that isn't what they are and believe in is wrong. That's what I mean.
Cool that you lumped in white people with trans. No, but for real, because it's like all it takes is just something that you aren't. That's like where fear comes from.
Yeah,
facts.
and it's just like
that's a different perspective.
As
right?
soon as it's something that is outside, like a man is supposed to act this way, a woman is supposed to act this way, and that's like if you don't, you're wrong. And they like I don't know how because I still live in that environment.
Like I'll have friends that are afraid to go in the women's section just to look for clothing. It's like.
Or when you go
cloth
in
isn't made for cloth. There's no certain cloth for any gender.
There's no rules for it. Niggas just said this is for this. Like they just throw it in there.
There's
clothes,
right.
There's clothes that are so ambiguous that like they just say, all right, let's just put it in the ladies section. They just kind of guess. They're just kind of just like, okay, I guess this would fit
unisex.
here. Yeah. There's unisex clothes sometimes that just get put in the, and it's like people don't even have an open mind enough to even look or consider looking at that section.
Bro, my parents would be like,
Definitely.
You know that earring that I have, the gold one? I don't know if you guys have seen it. It actually, I was riding my bike and it just fucking popped out. Shit. Went through a bump. I have two though, anyways. But my parents were like, why are you wearing that? And she's like, I don't like it. I'm like,
okay.
Yeah,
that's where I've gotten. I don't even argue it anymore. It's like fine, because it's like it's just like in the end. If you try to argue it, you're talking to a wall. You're talking to a brick wall. They're not going to listen.
What's worse, though, is hearing nothing or hearing something. Because I get a lot of nothing.
At the point that they are...
Not just like from parents, but just in general, people would just be like...
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's like, at some point, I'm not doing this to be attacking you or,
Yeah.
It's just like, sometimes you'd rather hear something, but I get that, you don't want to just get shut down for trying to be yourself.
Don't you think it's crazy how often people take an opposite side as an attack? Like, let's say you say this,
that's a good point.
I believe this, and then they don't believe that, and they're
As
like, fuck you.
Attack,
that's their first thing.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Like, how dare you?
I'm from Ottawa.
Whoa,
I'm from Toronto.
Explain myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm from Ottawa. I'm from Toronto. Oh, fuck you. You're from Ottawa.
Why were you born there?
Oh, I'm from...
Hey, why are you in my hood?
I'm from East Ottawa. I'm from West Ottawa. You're a piece of shit. I'm from North Ottawa. You're a piece of shit. I'm not Ottawa at all.
Oh, right. Well, even in 2010, though?
I haven't lived in Ottawa. I lived in when I came to Canada. I lived in Laval, Quebec, for 5 years, and then I moved to Ottawa. But it's just because Gatineau. I'm basically Ottawa. Like everything I do is in Ottawa. I just shit and sleep, and masturbate in Gatineau, and I make shit in Gatineau.
The best province to do.
Facts. And shit was just cheaper there.
And it still is, man. They're still afraid that they're gonna split countries.
Oh yeah, because Quebec is so fucking obsessed with being
separatist.
They're fucking.
I don't know. I don't know how if that's still going on, but
you can feel it there.
At one point, like that's why the housing market was so much cheaper. Because people were like, "Oh, we have to join a new country tomorrow." Like that's rough. Like if you're living in Quebec and it changes to a new country, like you're kind of stuck there.
Right.
I mean, for a lot of people that was fine, but your currency changes, like your job, like there's a lot of instability, whatever, to having a new country.
Right.
So it's like, I'll just go live in Ottawa for double the price.
Damn.
While we're here.
Yeah, it was crazy house hunting when we were trying to move, seeing the differences between like shitty Ottawa apartments, like 2 bedrooms that cost way more than 4 bedrooms in Gatineau.
Wow.
I think it's still kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like even to rent, it's just you might as well go there.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a car or means to get across.
And it's funny because from Carleton, especially with the train, like it's 30 minutes from my house to
Really?
Yeah.
But you know what I found out yesterday?
What?
Lyft doesn't go to Gatineau.
No, Uber.
What?
Only Uber does, I think.
Oh, Uber does?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember
thank
Ubering.
God. I was
I Ubered all the way from my house to Bayshore.
okay.
It just
good.
cost like I think $30, which
I
is
was
still
like,
decent.
Something's weird. You know, like they're the same city.
Yeah. Some people
Yeah.
and sometimes
Even on,
drivers
like-
just don't want to do
Even
it.
on
too.
Kijiji, it's like Ottawa
Right.
/ Gatineau.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it,
Oh my
it's
God!
the
If you
same
look at a
thing.
map, it looks silly that
It's
they're
a
different,
sick
but
car.
provinces.
Don't you love like blocky cars where it's
Oh,
not
yeah, is that
rounded,
the,
like the edges aren't rounded?
Look like the Wolf of
Like
Wall
the
Street
E30
one.
is so beautiful.
What's an is that?
BMW, like the BMW, like the E30, the E36. I think the
picture it.
E40, if the E46, E46, it's just like those cars. There's a Mercedes
Isn't
too.
that Oh,
No.
the Benz Z40.
No. There's a
The
Beamer.
BMW.
There's a
Okay.
yeah. It's at the M3 line.
I'm a piece
But
of shit. How do I not know?
I'm not even fully into cars. I just saw that one. It's
Yeah,
on
I
the.
don't know
Yeah.
If you want to remember what it looks like, channel Nostalgia Ultra cover. That's an E30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the white one.
It's
yeah.
like the blocky cars. Like every time I see it, I love
okay,
them
I
so much.
see,
It's
It's
like
like the Wolf of Wall Street car.
yeah, like these ones have like rounded corners. I hate that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
But I like
do
the
you?
one with like sharp corners. That's why I don't like this.
Aren't
this-
you in physics?
No,
Oh, I thought you were
Ew.
studying physics for some reason. I was like, how
hate
could you like a
math.
blocky car if
I
you're?
do not like math. Like this to me is not the best silhouette. My favorite silhouette for the iPhone is like the 4 and the 5.
Oh yeah, the
Because the edges, like the sides, are so like just
Pointy, sharp, yeah.
like sharp. I love that. I love that so much.
Right. You don't like the elliptical.
No,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
I hate
All
rounded
right.
corners.
So you like the new iPad Pro?
I haven't seen it, but
It's like the iPhone 4.
Oh.
The side-
But you know,
the
like
corner
there's so
profile.
much like functionality, advantages
For
to
round edges.
yeah for rounded shit.
Oh yeah.
Like even in the 3600, the packaging class.
Yes.
It was like
Round
just one
everything,
simple,
bro.
like, if you have a packaging thing that's like a rectangle, it's way easier to rip. But if it's round, then it, way
Man,
more
if you had a piece of
sustainable.
paper here,
Yeah,
I
that's
could
why.
show you how quick. Oh, flex.
Yeah.
they got so excited.
We gotta get it. We gotta get an exact. Oh, you had an important note there too.
Nah, it's
Yo, how do you? I remember in studio they taught me this one. Oh, you can't film this. You know I'm gonna mess it up on camera. This is like the designer party trick, and everybody's like, "All right, I'm gonna go play beer pong somewhere else." It's like the difference of that. It's still ripped, obviously, but it kind of decides where you rip. You know, when you already have a line existing, it decides how it's gonna break. But here, the theory is that it can't decide because it's equally pressured. Yeah,
okay.
obviously I messed up because it's
That
broken, but thanks for
Fucking
doing
broken
arts and
piece of
crafts.
paper.
Yeah, what do we do with this? Can we litter this?
eat it.
Sometimes I ask my friends if we can litter, just to see,
Isn't paper
just to
just,
see.
Is paper biodegradable?
Yeah,
it
I'm
used to
pretty
be
sure. I mean,
used.
depending on what's in it.
Depending on the
True.
paper. It's so funny that there's so many different types of paper. Niggas forget that shit's made from trees. So funny. Oh man.
I was talking to my friend today about tree planting and how it's not actually. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble here, but it's not actually the best environmental solution.
Why?
Because you're replanting a forest that used to be everything with just this one kind of tree. I mean, that's the base level of the problem, but
Right. So it's like the ecology is kind of
yes.
imbalanced.
Oh, you lose so much. The ecosystem just changes, man. Because it becomes a factory.
That makes sense.
I see.
Shit. Yeah.
That's gonna impact something else. Which is
Yeah.
gonna impact something else.
And
blah
it's-
blah blah.
and
It's
that's
like
so-
now birds won't go there because they're like, I don't care about a pine tree.
Yeah.
I'm looking for this.
Facts.
Like the whole community's
that's so tight.
the whole community's changed. They're like, oh, where was that butcher I used to go to? And they come back and it's just like condos.
It's
Right.
and that's funny because
Like, that's
people
what it is.
because people do that shit and they get all self-righteous about it, right? They get all like, oh yeah, go tree planting, or the stupid Instagram thing where it's like, oh, every fucking 10 reposts on your story will plant a
Can
tree.
you plant it somewhere
And
good
all
with
you're
enough
doing
soil?
to feel like you're doing a salute
Facts.
to you're coming with a solution for the planet
Yeah, sorry
is
to
just
ruin it for
reposting
everyone.
something and then continuing scrolling
Yeah.
and you think you're being so important. Nah, fuck you, nigga.
Literally, like,
You're-
just buy
you're
one less
contributing to
t-shirt
the
this
problem.
week. That'd make a better difference.
One less t-shirt.
Buy one less t-shirt. Go to the thrift store, you dumbass
Don't
bitch.
even buy one, bro. Yeah, go to the thrift store.
Like I sell merch and I'm like, just make this your one t-shirt of the year.
Yeah. Or just wear this.
Noah does that. You know the streetwear brand? They kind of emphasize that. They're like, just buy less. Like they put out limited releases of stuff.
And they probably make it so that it lasts enough for you to wear it like every day.
And they source it really well. And they show all their margins. They do cost breakdowns.
Oh, I have seen that.
That's
yeah,
so
Kinda cool.
tight.
Yeah.
It's European, right?
It's New York, but some of it's Italy, some of it's Portugal.
That's awesome.
Some's
I'm
Canada.
gonna get into them now. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, they're cool. They're based in Manhattan.
That's so sick. Are you planning on moving out to like pursue
That's a
or
good question. I'm
going anywhere?
moved out right now.
Like just going anywhere
You know what
outside
I mean?
of here?
Like,
do you plan on like having stores or anything crazy?
my long-term goal, spoiler, is I want a bigger venue in Ottawa that doesn't lose its character after 500 people. And that's not just an attack. Like I know it takes a lot. It has to be a good community.
Don't you think the standards here are still very low though?
Sure.
I feel
I
that
mean,
way.
I still like. I was just in Toronto this week, and I would go around and you'd get around, and you can stumble upon things. Where in Ottawa, it's harder to stumble upon things, but it's not impossible. Like
I feel like
2 years ago, I wasn't as
changing.
optimistic.
Yeah, I feel like
but
it's
now
changing.
I really am.
Yeah, it's changing.
Like I'm
things
here
have
for
changed.
it.
Yeah, things have changed.
I know a lot of companies that are coming back to Ottawa.
Sick.
Like my friends that were raised by wolves were in Montreal, but now they're here.
Oh, I know.
Like there's a
those guys.
reason.
What do you think the reason is?
It's like they have a community outreach. They don't have to be pigeonholed in a scene. And everything they were doing was online. You know, rent's cheaper here. That's such a big factor. It's like the reason the tech in Canada is so important to our culture. Is that people are coming here. They have a reason to be here. It's not like I work in the Parliament building and that's it.
Yeah.
There's so much variety now. And it just makes for better music.
I feel like in a few more years it's gonna get cooler because I feel like we're expanding.
yeah, man.
We're expanding here.
I can feel
It's
that
tight.
too with the train.
Like the amount of stuff that,
Fucking LRT taking forever though.
yeah. But I think the amount of stuff that gets done downtown.
I'd rather that. Like if they're taking a long time, it's not for no reason.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
I don't want to come to conclusions. It's probably very complicated to actually build one
Yeah, I know.
that
I'm
doesn't
not.
fuck up.
I'm
I don't
like,
know shit. So like,
I'm like disappointed, but I'm like, I didn't do anything to help.
yeah. So I'd rather that than they rush it and then I fucking die.
And I've hopped on a bus illegally before, so you know, like
You
if they needed more money, like it's on me. But I also have paid a lot, so.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up because I think this
Word.
is dying. I think we went for quite a bit. Did pretty
140.
good. Whoa,
I don't
that's
know.
so.
I'm guessing.
Okay, that's so sick.
What time is
On
it?
your side.
It's like 5:43.
Dope.
Yeah.
I got a rehearsal soon.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for coming, bro. That
Yeah,
was
thanks
actually a
for having
very,
me.
very cool convo. You're more interesting than
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be. I thought you were gonna be a piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding.
I know a
Nah.
lot of pieces
Just
of
from
shit,
your
so.
design work, I had a feeling you'd be a very cool dude. Now I want to
No,
like
thank you.
actually connect a bit more, maybe work on some shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like your ideas, you seem like you're really trying to push it like forward past like even what you know.
Mhm.
Not only like what's around you, but even like yourself. Like you're trying to push, like try new shit.
Definitely.
And that's all I
Especially
look for.
now.
That's all I look for in like people, both local and like people I don't know. So you should
Yeah.
definitely like.
Yeah, I'm glad I got in touch with you guys. However, I did. I guess through Senna, huh?
Yeah.
Just briefly there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
We do this vlog
this whole world right now we've been talking about is like you gotta just have initiative. So it's cool to see when people have initiative.
Yeah. I didn't like you were in my class first semester.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you did all this
Yeah,
event shit.
I saw
all
like
that.
some cool outfits and I was like, oh, he's probably up to something.
He's probably a cool dude.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching episode 23.
Oh.
We're vlog style right now. Go
Is this
check out
peace?
Calum. Go check out. I'm gonna link all his
Calum with one L?
all his Instagrams
Yeah, word.
on the description. if you wanna
give
check
us
it out.
your socials, new websites.
Oh, okay.
Plugs.
Let's see. Calum with one L dot. I guess calum.wav. That's the personal account. Say hi.
Instagram.
Yeah. And Congrego it's got a lot of periods in it, so just go to my account and click the link in my bio. Yeah.
Excelente.
That's all
Do you
I
want
got.
them to give you any money or?
I want no money. I just want you to enjoy yourself and meet someone new tomorrow.
Amazing.
But give me money.
Yeah, word.